members of Russia's academic community have proposed various alternative hypotheses to explain the Kamchatka disaster. The most popular of these is the supposed influence of solar activity. This theory is not merely incorrect, it is scientifically unfounded. Elena Kobeleva, director of the Baikal Branch of the Unified Geophysical Service of the Russian Academy of Sciences, made a statement regarding a possible connection between the Kamchatka earthquake and solar activity. This is a textbook case of flawed casual reasoning that cannot withstand serious scientific scrutiny. Kobeleva asserts, quote, "We're seeing increased activity with earthquakes, Turkey, Myanmar, and now Kamchatka. I agree with many of my colleagues who associate this with rising solar activity," end quote. However, this statement contains several fundamental misconceptions. First of all, as recently as June 11, 2025, the press offices of the Solar Astronomy Laboratory of the Space Research Institute and the Institute of Solar Terrestrial Physics, both part of the same Russian Academy of Sciences, announced that the peak of solar cycle 25 had already passed. In other words, solar activity is now in decline. Yet, Elena Kobeleva, director of the Baikal Branch of the Unified Geophysical Service, either was unaware of this or chose to disregard the conclusions of her own colleagues. Thus, in commenting on the July 30th Kamchatka earthquake, she confidently cited increasing solar activity as a possible cause of the disaster. So here we have the same Academy of Sciences, a difference of 6 weeks, and two diametrically opposed statements. On the one hand, activity is declining, and on the other, activity is increasing. One might say the equation has an infinite number of solutions, so long as one isn't constrained by the laws of logic. I am continually astonished at how the Russian scientific community approaches its own reasoning in the classic, all too familiar Russian style of, close enough. One day it's rising, the next it's falling, as long as it sounds impressive and doesn't invite any probing questions. And so, when faced with a magnitude 8.8 catastrophe, the temptation must be too great to resist simply pointing a finger at the sky, literally, and naming the sun as the prime suspect. I must say, I'm rather surprised that Rasiers, led by Dvorkin, Russia's top expert on extremism, has not yet declared the sun an extremist.